Hey friends, Rob Phoenix, Powwow Broker Hexameister here. Hope you're all doing well. Last day of September. Looking forward to October. Um, one of the things that I would like to talk about is the use of the title witch doctor. Uh, for me, the word witch doctor brings up images of African tribal men with like crazy masks on doing something strange. Uh, Witch doctor is a term used in many cultures, in many parts of the world, almost as like an insult to traditional folk healers. And really, in many cases, like the exact opposite is true, because most of these folk healers um, would also help to remove witchcraft and fight against witchcraft. So the idea of a witch doctor, um, when you see that, and we see that in Pennsylvania Dutch history, where the powwowers were being referred to by the academic community, and in particular the medical community, as witch doctors, and that was in an attempt to kind of classify powwowers as quacks. It was a slur, basically. Now, I have not seen any attempt to sort of repurpose that title into something positive, but certainly a hexameister could also be known as a witch doctor. I used to have a license plate on a different car that I had it just said hex doc, because I like that, a hex doctor, a hexameister. A hexameister is like a master over witchery. Um, so the term witch doctor, for some people who uh, I don't know, kind of get into folk magic for maybe more of that sort of witchy experience or whatever, might be a title that is attractive to you. Although you don't hear it used. Anyway, I thought it was an interesting discussion, but it brings to mind, like, we think, well, what's a witch doctor? And again, it takes you back, like they were the folk healers, they were the people you would go to for um, help to remove curses from you, and also to, in many cases, pay them for spells and incantations and charms to achieve certain things in their lives. Um, and nowadays, they still serve the same purpose. I mean, the world is getting crazy now. It's mad out there right now, and people's rights are being taken away, and our protections are not what they once were, and people are being kind of specifically targeted. So a lot of folks are going back to their roots, their cultural roots, and finding the folk magic and such that worked for their ancestors and bringing it into modern times. So we're seeing like the rise of the witch doctor in this day and age, and I'm here for it. I like it. That being said, like in Pennsylvania Dutch culture, there's a saying like a witch must always be causing mischief. And now we know there are modern people who have repurposed the word witch to mean something good. So that kind of phraseology doesn't really apply to them. But there are still those people out there that like to just cause trouble for no reason, just like make stuff up, make up lies, and just cause trouble, and just like slander people and whatnot. Uh, for no reason. So those are the kind of people that are being spoken about in Pennsylvania Dutch culture when they say a witch must always be causing mischief, because they're just like causing shit for no reason. But we, as the Braukerin or the powwow or the hexenmeisters, that's our job to work against that. Even the witch doctors. As I get older, I kind of more embrace those darker things about myself, I guess you could say. I don't know. Not that I'm turning into an evil person. Certainly not. But I'm definitely embracing more of that darker stuff. And especially more like with working with the dead and even the saints to an extent. But, just that darker stuff that one might associate with like a witch doctor. Uh, so yeah, it's kind of an interesting term. And I know there are And again, it was used as a derogatory, that's the word I was looking for, a derogatory title, but it's kind of being repurposed now and embraced as something good. Just like the word witch itself. It meant something bad forever and ever and ever. And now, like in the 60s, 50s, 60s, it started taking on a new meaning, meaning something good. And so it can mean two different things. If you choose to take up the study and practice of Pennsylvania German folk magic, certainly it has all this like sort of darker folksy stuff to it, where you get into the hardcore religious stuff and the removal of curses and such. But it also just has this sort of lighter side where it's just a tradition of healing, very simplistic folk healing methods, and that's important too, and we can't lose sight of that. So I absolutely encourage everyone to learn about your culture's healing traditions, because things are changing in the world, and not for the better, and we're being reverted back to time before people had rights and such. And so I think we're going to find ourselves really embracing, like, what did our ancestors do to survive in such a harsh world? Because we're going back to that world, unfortunately. We're going back to a world where racism is like is legal again, and discrimination is legal, and healthcare is going to be unattainable to most of us, even worse than it is now. And so yeah, I think it's time for us to kind of embrace this. And in the process, maybe as a form of rebellion, embrace some of those old titles and repurpose them into, something good. And so we folk magicians can kind of say, you know what, yeah, the world is changing, and here we are. We're here, and we're going to adapt to it, and we're going to fight against the things we can fight against, and we're going to help our people in the best way that we can. And so if that means changing from just the little simple powwow or folk healer into the witch doctor, then that's what we need to do, because we have to adapt our magic and our work and our folk Christianity to fit the world that we live in. The world's not going to change for us. We have to change to be one with the world. And there we go. So maybe the rise of the witch doctor is at hand, and I'm here for it. I don't know. It's kind of just, it's been on my mind today, and I was listening to Joy Division earlier, so that always kind of puts me in a introspective kind of situation. But that's where I'm at right now. October's coming. It's a dark time of the year, and the world, and the world particular, that the United States is starting to get really scary. It's time for us to really focus. And where can we find the power that we need to kind of survive in these darker times? And unfortunately, that means turning towards darker stuff, and that's okay. That's all right. That's what we do as folk magicians. We adapt and we survive. So there you go. That's my, I guess, talk on, like, I don't know, witch doctors, but hopefully everyone's doing well. October will be here just a few short hours, so happy October and goodbye September. And that's it. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. Let's have a discussion. Subscribe, like, thumbs up, share, all the YouTube-y things. That's it. God bless you guys. Stay safe. Love you all very much. We'll talk again soon.